You hear gentle rain tapping against the windows of a small cottage by the sea. Before you lies an unfinished map, and beside it rests a brass compass whose needle still points towards a forgotten island. The warm glow of an oil lamp dances softly across the wooden desk. This is Sleep Chapters. Every night begins with a new chapter, and wherever you may be listening tonight, thank you for choosing to spend these quiet moments here. Tonight's chapter begins now. The rain continues softly outside. The cottage is warm and still. There is nowhere to hurry. Nothing waiting of you tonight. Only the gentle rhythm of rain upon the windows and the faint crackle of a fire nearby. You rest your hands upon the map before you. The parchment feels slightly rough beneath your fingertips. Its edges have softened over the years, and some corners have gently curled with time. Beside you, the brass compass catches the light for a moment before falling back into shadow. Its needle remains perfectly still, always pointing in the same direction, towards somewhere unknown. But tonight, there is no need to ask questions. It is enough simply to be here, to listen to the rain, to feel the warmth of the room around you, to notice the soft glow of the lamp, and to allow the day little by little to drift farther away. You let your fingertips rest upon the old parchment. The words, "The Island of Quiet Tides," seem to belong perfectly to the evening. They feel unhurried, gentle, as though the island itself has been patiently waiting for someone to discover it. You lean a little closer. The map has been drawn with remarkable care. Thin lines mark the coastline. Tiny dots suggest clusters of trees. Near the western shore stands a small lighthouse. Its tower is no larger than your thumb, yet somehow it feels important. The artist who drew this map paid attention to every detail. Even the lantern room has been carefully sketched. You can almost imagine its light sweeping slowly across the sea. The rain continues against the windows. The fire gives a soft crackle. You settle more comfortably into your chair. Your cottage seems to grow even warmer. You have spent many evenings in this room. Spring evenings with open windows and the scent of flowers drifting inside. Summer nights filled with the distant songs of crickets. Autumn evenings much like this one, with rain tapping softly upon the roof, and long winters when snow gathered upon the windowsills and the sea disappeared entirely behind mist. The cottage has quietly accompanied all of them. Perhaps that is why you like this room so much. It never asks you to become someone different. It simply welcomes you exactly as you are. Your eyes wander across the shelves once again. One shelf contains books, another holds rolled parchments, and upon the highest shelf sits a small wooden box. You have not opened it for many weeks, perhaps even months. The box is simple. No carvings, no lock, just smooth wood darkened by age. For a few moments you look at it, then, almost without thinking, you rise from your chair. The floorboards give a quiet creak beneath your feet. The fire continues its soft conversation with the room. You reach up and carefully bring the box down. It is lighter than you remember. You place it gently upon the desk. For a moment you simply rest your hand upon its lid. Outside the rain grows slightly heavier. You can hear it dancing upon the roof. The sound is strangely comforting. At last you lift the lid. Inside rests a collection of small objects. A smooth white stone, a feather with shades of silver and grey, a tiny seashell, and beneath them all lies a folded piece of paper. You smile softly. You remember now. The box holds little reminders of places you once imagined. You pick up the seashell. Its surface is cool against your fingertips. You hold it near your ear. Perhaps you can hear the sea, or perhaps it is only the rain outside. Either way, it is pleasant to listen. You return the shell to the box. Then you unfold the piece of paper. It is no larger than your hand. Upon it is a tiny drawing, a small island, a lighthouse, a cluster of pine trees. You blink once, then look down at the map before you. The drawings are nearly identical. For a moment you simply stare. You have no memory of making this sketch, and yet something about it feels familiar, very familiar. You look again at the words written upon the parchment, the island of quiet tides. The rain falls softly, the fire glows warmly, the lamp flickers beside the compass, and for reasons you cannot quite explain, you have the curious feeling that tonight may become one of those evenings you remember for a very long time. For a few quiet moments you continue looking at the little drawing in your hand. The island seems impossibly simple. A lighthouse, a few pine trees, a narrow stretch of beach, and a small wooden dock extending into calm water. Nothing more, and yet it holds your attention completely. You place the sketch beside the larger map. The resemblance is remarkable. Even the curve of the shoreline is the same, even the position of the lighthouse, even the tiny cluster of trees near the northern edge. You find yourself smiling. There is something pleasant about discovering familiar things in unexpected places. The rain taps softly against the windows. The fire gives another quiet crackle. You reach for your cup of tea. It has cooled slightly now, no larger than a grain of rice. You study it for a long moment. Why place a lantern there? Who might have lit it? And for whom? You do not know. And strangely, you do not feel the need to know. The question itself feels comforting. Some mysteries are pleasant simply because they remain mysteries. The fire crackles softly again. Its light dances upon the brass compass. Without thinking, you glance toward it. The needle remains perfectly still, always pointing, always patient, always facing the same direction, towards somewhere unknown. Then a curious thought arrives. Perhaps it is not pointing towards somewhere unknown at all. Perhaps it is pointing here, toward this island, toward the island of quiet tides. You rest your fingertips upon the parchment. The paper feels cool and smooth beneath your hand. Outside, rainwater slides slowly down the windows. A small lantern. Inside, the lamp glows warmly beside you. The fire continues its gentle work. The sea breathes in the darkness. And for the first time tonight, you find yourself wondering what it might be like to visit such a place. Not tomorrow, not someday, but tonight, as though the island has been patiently waiting for this very evening. As though somewhere beyond the rain and the sea, a small lantern may already be glowing beside a quiet shore, waiting for you to arrive. You continue looking at the tiny lantern drawn upon the map, such a small detail, and yet it seems to hold the entire island together. A lighthouse may guide ships. A dock may welcome visitors. A cluster of pines may offer shade and shelter. But a lantern feels personal. It suggests that someone once sat there, someone once waited there. Someone once watched the sea from that quiet shore. You imagine the lantern glowing softly in the darkness, not brightly, not urgently. The gentle light, the sound of waves, the scent of pine trees after rain, the cool evening air. You notice that your breathing has become slower. The room feels quieter than before. Even time itself seems to have softened. You glance once more toward the windows. Rainwater slips slowly down the glass in silver lines. Some drops join together, others continue on their own quiet paths. You watch them for a few moments. Then another thought arrives. Perhaps every map begins in exactly this way. Not with lines and measurements, not with ink and paper, but with a feeling that somewhere there is a place waiting to be discovered. Perhaps that is why you have always loved maps. They remind you that there are still peaceful places in the world, places where nothing needs to be accomplished, places where nobody is in a hurry, places where the evening can unfold as slowly as the tide. You look down again at the island, just enough to create a small circle of warmth. You can almost picture it, the island of quiet tides. The name itself seems to move gently through your thoughts. Quiet tides. You say the word silently to yourself. Quiet tides. They sound almost like a lullaby. You trace the outline of the shoreline with your finger. The curve of the beach, the tiny dock, the small lantern, the lighthouse. the trees. The island no longer feels like a drawing, it feels like a memory. Though you cannot remember when you might have visited such a place, or if you ever did, the fire settles with a soft sigh. A small ember glows and fades. The kettle gives a gentle hum. The rain continues its patient song upon the roof. Everything around you seems to be encouraging stillness, and perhaps that is exactly what tonight requires. Nothing more than stillness, nothing more than rain, nothing more than a map and a quiet room. You rest your hand beside the compass. The brass has become pleasantly warm from the nearby lamp. For a long moment you simply sit there, listening, breathing, resting. Then, almost without thinking, you place one fingertip lightly upon the tiny lantern drawn upon the island's shore. The paper is cool beneath your hand. Outside, a distant wave rolls softly against the coast. Inside, the lamp flickers once, then again. And for the briefest of moments, you could almost believe that the little lantern upon the map has begun to glow. You smile softly. Perhaps it is only the light of the room, or perhaps somewhere beyond the rain and the sea, a lantern really is shining tonight. Waiting quietly beside the water, waiting without hurry, waiting as though it somehow knew you would eventually find this map. You take one last sip of tea. The cup is nearly empty now. The fire is warm, the rain is steady. The island waits patiently upon your desk, and slowly, very slowly, you begin to wonder what it might feel like to step onto its shore. You continue looking at the map. Tiny ripples move across the surface. The lantern's reflection gently stretches and bends with each wave. You watch it for a while. There is something deeply relaxing about reflections upon water. They move slowly. They ask nothing of you. They simply exist. A soft breeze passes across the dock. It carries the scent of pine trees. You turn your gaze toward the island. Not far away rises a small hill. Upon it stands the lighthouse. Its white stone walls glow faintly in the evening light. Behind it grows a quiet forest of pine trees. Their dark silhouettes rise peacefully against the sky. You listen. The sea continues its slow breathing. Somewhere among the trees you hear the gentle rustling of branches. The island seems completely untroubled by time. Nothing appears rushed, nothing appears unfinished. Everything feels as though it has always been here. You take a slow breath. The cool sea air fills your lungs. Then you release it slowly. Another wave reaches the shore, then another, and another. The rhythm becomes almost like breathing. The island inhales, the island exhales, the sea inhales, the sea exhales, and without quite noticing when it happened, your own breathing begins to follow the same gentle rhythm. In and out, slowly, comfortably. There is nowhere else you need to be tonight, only here, on this small dock. Listening to the sea, watching the lantern glow beside you, and feeling the cool evening air upon your skin. A few moments pass, or perhaps many moments. Time feels different here. The sky above has deepened into shades of blue and violet. One star appears, then another, then another. They emerge slowly. Some are white, some are soft shades of blue. They seem perfectly content growing here beside the sea. You pause for a moment to admire them. It occurs to you that many beautiful things ask for very little attention. They simply exist quietly. And perhaps that is part of what makes them beautiful. A gentle breeze passes once more through the pines. You hear their branches softly sway above you. The sound is deep and soothing, almost like the sea itself breathing among the trees. You continue walking. The path begins to climb slightly, not steeply, just enough to bring you a little higher above the shore. As you rise, the view slowly changes. The sea seems wider. The horizon stretches farther. The dock appears smaller. Its little lantern now glows like a tiny golden star. You stop once more. From here, the island feels both small and endless at the same time. A curious feeling, the sort of feeling one sometimes has in dreams. The world seems simple, yet filled with possibilities. You rest your hand upon the smooth trunk of a pine tree. Its bark feels cool. The branches above are gently moving. You look upward. Through the needles you can see more stars appearing, one by one, quietly, patiently. The sky is becoming a river of light, and for reasons you cannot fully explain, it feels as though the island has been expecting night to arrive. Everything seems prepared for it. The lantern, the lighthouse, the stars, the pines, even the sea seems to have become calmer. You listen again, wave, pause, wave, pause, wave. The rhythm is slow enough that your thoughts begin to drift with it. There is no need to remember what happened earlier today, no need to think about tomorrow. This path asks nothing of you, comfortably, as though there is all the time in the world. The path begins to level once again. The pines grow a little farther apart. The breeze feels softer here. And then, quite naturally, you find yourself standing at the top of the hill. The lighthouse rises before you. It is smaller than you imagined, and somehow that makes it even more charming. Its white stone walls have been softened by many years of sea air. Tiny patches of moss grow between some of the stones. A climbing vine has found its way around one side of the tower. Near the entrance sits a wooden bench, simple, weathered, comfortable. The lantern room glows above you. Its warm light spills gently through the glass. You listen. The sea can still be heard below. Wave, pause, wave, pause. The rhythm has become so familiar that it feels almost like a heartbeat. The island's heartbeat. You step closer to the lighthouse. The stones beneath your feet have retained a little warmth from the day. The evening air is cool, but not cold. The kind of coolness that makes a warm room feel even more inviting. You run your fingers lightly across the stone wall. Its surface is smooth in some places and rough in others. Countless rains have fallen here, countless winds have passed by, and still the lighthouse remains, patient, steady, quiet. You look up. The lantern room seems almost suspended between the sea and the stars. Its light does not reach very far. It does not need to. It simply glows, and that seems enough. A thought gently arrives. Perhaps some things are not meant to illuminate the entire world. Perhaps they are only meant to offer enough light for one peaceful evening. You like that thought. It feels true somehow. Somewhere nearby, you hear the soft rustling of tall grass. Then, once more, everything becomes still. You sit upon the wooden bench. The wood is cool beneath you. From here, you can see almost the entire island, the little dock below, its lantern still glowing softly. The dark line of the shore, the gentle curve of the beach, the tops of the pine trees moving almost imperceptibly. Beyond them lies only the sea, endless and calm. Above you the sky has become rich with stars. There seem to be more appearing every moment. Some shine brightly, others are faint and delicate. You find yourself choosing one star, then another, not naming them, not counting them, simply noticing them. There is something wonderfully peaceful about looking at the night sky. The stars never seem rushed. They simply remain. The scent of pine drifts through the air. A soft chime, just once, gentle, warm, almost like the sound of a small clock announcing the passing of an hour. Then silence returns. You look toward the wooden door of the lighthouse. A thin line of golden light rests beneath it. The lighthouse seems awake, and for reasons you cannot quite explain, you have the feeling that there may be something very cozy waiting inside. For a few moments you remain seated on the bench. The soft chime seems to linger in the night air. Then even its memory fades into the gentle sounds of the island. Wave, pause. Wave, pause. Above you, the stars continue their quiet work of shining. Below, the sea continues breathing against the shore, and before you, the lighthouse waits patiently. You rise from the bench. The grass whispers softly beneath your feet. You walk toward the wooden door. It is painted a deep shade of blue, though years of sea air have softened its color. A small brass handle catches the light from above. You rest your hand upon it. The metal is pleasantly cool. For a moment you simply stand there. It feels strangely familiar, as though you have stood before this very door on another evening, perhaps in a dream, perhaps in a memory, or perhaps only in your imagination. The island seems perfectly content to leave such questions unanswered. And so are you. Very gently you turn the handle. The door opens without a sound. A warm golden light spills across the stone path. Immediately you notice the difference. The night outside is cool and fresh. The room within feels wonderfully warm. You step inside. The door closes softly behind you. For a moment you simply look around. The room is small, smaller than you expected, and immediately comforting. A circular rug rests upon the floor. Its colors have faded with time. A wooden table stands near the window. Beside it is a simple chair. There is a bookshelf. There is always something reassuring about finding books in a quiet place. Some are thick, some are thin. Some appear to have been read many times. A lantern rests upon the table. Its gentle light fills every corner of the room. Near the wall sits a kettle upon a small iron stove. You hear the faintest hum of water remaining warm. The room smells of cedar wood, tea leaves, and old paper. You take a slow breath. The air itself seems to encourage relaxation. You remove your coat and drape it across the back of the chair. Then you walk slowly around the room. Everything appears simple, nothing unnecessary, only a few objects carefully chosen. A ceramic cup, a folded blanket, a small basket of pine cones, a tiny potted plant resting upon the windowsill, and beside the lantern lies an old notebook. Its cover is made of dark green cloth. Instead, each page contains only a few simple observations. You turn to the first page. It reads, "Tonight, the sea sounds softer than yesterday." You smile. You turn another page. The lantern by the dock glowed like a small star. Another page. A gull sat beside the path for nearly an hour. Another. The pines smelled of rain this evening. You continue turning pages. Each entry is simple. Each one notices something small. A cloud, a wave, a breeze, a reflection upon the water, a patch of moonlight, nothing important, and somehow everything important. The room feels even quieter now. You look around once more. The blanket folded near the stove, the tiny plant by the window, no records of ships or weather, listening, allowing the sentence to settle gently into your thoughts. Then your eyes wander to the next page. This time there is no writing, only a drawing, simple lines made with dark ink. You lean a little closer. It is a map, a very small map, and immediately you recognize it, the curved shoreline, the little dock, the cluster of pine trees, the lighthouse upon the hill. It is this island, but there is one detail you have not seen before. Near the eastern side of the island, tucked among the pines, someone has drawn a tiny circle. Beside it are 3 small words. The Moon Garden. You look at the drawing for several moments. The sea breathes softly below. The lantern glows warmly beside you, and somewhere beyond the window, the island waits quietly once again. Now holding another gentle mystery, the Moon Garden. You look at the little drawing for a while. The Moon Garden, such a gentle name. You say the words silently to yourself, Moon Garden. Immediately you begin to imagine it, a quiet place among the pines, perhaps a small clearing, perhaps a bench beneath the trees, perhaps flowers that seem to glow beneath the moonlight. You smile softly. The island appears to enjoy keeping small secrets, not grand secrets, not mysterious treasures, simply places waiting to be noticed. You close the notebook for a moment. The lantern continues its warm glow beside you. The kettle gives a soft hum. The room feels wonderfully comfortable. In fact, it feels so comfortable that you could remain here all evening. Perhaps reading the notebook, perhaps watching the sea through the window, perhaps doing absolutely nothing at all, and that would be enough. But tonight, another feeling has quietly arrived. Cool evening air drifts gently inside. It carries the scent of pine and sea salt. You step outside. The stars seem brighter now. The night has deepened. The sky above is rich with shades of midnight blue. The lighthouse glows warmly behind you. Ahead lies the island, quiet, patient, waiting. You look toward the pines. Their dark shapes sway ever so slightly in the breeze. Then, quite by chance, you notice something. Far below, near the dock, the little lantern still shines. And farther away, Among the trees to the east, you think you see another light. Very small, very soft, almost hidden. You blink once. The light remains, golden, steady. You smile. Perhaps that is the moon garden. Or perhaps it is simply another lantern. Either way, it feels like an invitation. You begin walking. The stone path leads away from the lighthouse and gently curves among the pines. The air beneath the trees feels cooler. Pine needles softly cover the ground. The scent of cedar and rain surrounds you. The breeze moves through the branches above. Their whispering sounds almost like the pages of a book turning slowly. You continue at an easy pace. There is no need to arrive quickly. The island has been here for a very long time. The moon garden, whatever it may be, seems perfectly willing to wait. You pass one pine tree, then another, and another. Between the branches, the stars occasionally appear, then disappear again. Moonlight spills softly across the path. Some places are silver, others remain in shadow. The whole forest feels dreamlike, as though it belongs equally to the night and to memory. Then the trees begin to open slightly. The breeze becomes softer. The air somehow feels lighter. And just ahead, beyond the last row of pines, you see the little golden light once more. This time, there is no mistaking it. Someone has placed a lantern there, and beside it, bathed in moonlight, lies a small clearing, the moon garden. You step beyond the last of the pine trees. The little clearing opens before you, simply quieter, not silent. As though the island itself has lowered its voice, and immediately everything seems to become quieter. The lantern stands upon a smooth stone near the entrance of the clearing. Its light is soft and golden, not bright enough to illuminate everything, only enough to gently welcome you. You pause for a moment. The moon garden is smaller than you imagined, and somehow exactly as you hoped it would be. The ground is covered with soft grass. A narrow path of round stones curves gently through the clearing. Tiny white flowers grow on either side. Their petals glow faintly beneath the moonlight. At the center of the garden stands a small tree. Its branches spread outward like the arms of an umbrella. The leaves move ever so slightly in the breeze. Beneath the tree rests a wooden bench, simple, weathered, comfortable. You walk slowly toward it. The grass barely makes a sound beneath your feet. The sea can still be heard in the distance. Wave, pause, wave, pause. But from here, the sound feels softer, as though it has traveled a great distance to reach this place. You notice something else. There are wind chimes hanging from one of the branches, very small. Made of silver-colored metal, they move gently in the breeze, once, twice. Then they give the softest of sounds, almost like a whisper. You smile. The entire garden seems carefully designed for quiet moments. Nothing here asks for attention, nothing tries to impress. Everything simply exists peacefully together. The lantern, the flowers, the tree, the bench, the wind chimes, the moonlight. You reach the bench and sit. The wood feels cool beneath you. You lean back slightly. Above you, the branches frame a small piece of the night sky. Several stars shine between the leaves. The moon rests a little higher. Its pale light gently covers the garden. The flowers seem almost luminous. The grass has become silver. Even the tree appears softer beneath its glow. You sit quietly, breathing, listening, resting. A few moments pass, or perhaps many. Time seems to move differently here. You understand now why the place is called the Moon Garden. It is not because the moon belongs here. It is because everything here seems to welcome moonlight, as though the garden comes alive in gentle ways after sunset. A cool breeze drifts through the clearing. The flowers move slightly, the leaves rustle overhead. The chimes answer with another soft note, then stillness returns. You realize something. You have not thought about tomorrow for quite some time. You have not thought about responsibilities or plans or clocks or lists. There is only this moment. The bench, the lantern, the tree, the sea breathing somewhere beyond the pines, and the moon watching quietly above. It feels wonderfully simple. You close your eyes for just a few seconds. The breeze touches your face. The chimes sound once more. Somewhere far below, another wave reaches the shore. You take a slow breath, then another and another. When you open your eyes again, you notice something beside the bench. A small wooden box, no larger than a book. It rests at the base of the tree. You are quite certain it was there all along, and yet it feels like a new discovery. Its wood has been smoothed by time. Its lid is slightly curved. Upon the top, someone has carved a single symbol, a crescent moon. You look at it for several moments. The lantern glows softly nearby. The leaves whisper above. The sea continues its patient breathing, and the little box waits beneath the tree, without hurry, as though it has all the time in the world. You remain seated on the bench for a little while. The little wooden box rests beneath the tree. The lantern glows softly nearby. The chimes move gently in the breeze, and above you the moon quietly watches over the clearing. There is no reason to hurry. The box appears perfectly content to wait. After all, it may have been here for many evenings, perhaps many years. A few more moments will make no difference at all. You listen to the garden. The leaves rustle softly overhead. A breeze passes through the clearing. The sea breathes in the distance. Wave. Pause. Wave. Pause. Then stillness again. At last you lean forward slightly. You place your hand upon the wooden box. Its surface is cool, smooth, comfortably worn. The carved crescent moon catches the lantern's glow. You run your thumb gently along its shape. The wood feels soft with age, as though many hands have rested here before yours. You lift the box carefully. It is surprisingly light. You place it upon your lap. The moonlight falls softly across its lid. For a moment you simply look at it. A breeze carried the scent of pine through the garden. Almost immediately the breeze returns, cool, fresh, filled with the scent of pine. You close your eyes for a moment and breathe it in. When you open them again, you realize something. The papers are not instructions. They are not stories. They are not important records. They are simply small observations, tiny moments, brief pieces of evenings that someone once noticed. The same sort of observations you found in the notebook inside the lighthouse. The thought feels pleasant. It makes the island seem even more whole somehow, as though every quiet place here has gently collected small moments of wonder. You unfold another paper. The stars look close enough to touch tonight. You glance upward. The sky above the clearing is deep and dark. Thousands of stars shine between the branches. Some seem impossibly far away, and yet somehow they do feel close tonight. You continue reading. A gull slept upon the dock. The lantern welcomed the evening. The pines whispered all night long. The moon arrived slowly and left softly. Each note is simple. Each one is peaceful. Each one seems to say the same thing in a different way. This moment matters because you noticed it. The realization settles gently into your thoughts. You look once more around the clearing. The lantern, the flowers, the silver grass, the tree above you, the sea below, the stars overhead. None of these things are extraordinary, and yet together they feel quietly unforgettable. A breeze moves through the branches once more. The chimes answer with a soft note. You lean back against the bench. The papers rest comfortably in your hands. You are no longer certain how much time has passed. Perhaps only a few minutes, perhaps much longer. Time seems to have become unimportant here. The island asks nothing of clocks. It seems interested only in evenings, and stars, and gentle breezes, and moments that are easy to miss. You carefully fold the little papers once more and place them back inside the box. Then you close the lid. The carved crescent moon catches the lantern's glow one last time. You return the box to its place beneath the tree. It somehow feels right there, as though it belongs among the roots and the moonlight. You settle comfortably upon the bench again. The lantern glows softly. The sea breathes below. The chimes whisper overhead. And for a long, quiet while, you simply sit beneath the tree, doing nothing at all. and it feels absolutely perfect. You remain beneath the tree for a long and comfortable while. The bench supports you gently, the lantern glows nearby, the wind chimes occasionally answer the breeze with soft notes, and the sea continues its patient breathing somewhere beyond the pines. Wave, pause, wave, pause. You begin to notice something. The island seems to have many different kinds of quiet. The quiet of the lighthouse, the quiet of the dock, the quiet of this garden. Each one feels slightly different, yet each one feels equally welcoming. You breathe slowly. The air carries the fragrance of pine and cool grass. Then another scent arrives, something softer, sweet. You look down. Near the bench grows a small cluster of pale flowers. You had not noticed them before. Their petals are almost white beneath the moonlight. They sway gently in the breeze. Perhaps they only open at night. You imagine them waiting patiently all day, waiting for the stars, waiting for the moon, waiting for this very moment. The thought makes you smile. A few moments later, the breeze returns. This time it comes from another direction, and with it arrives a faint sound. Not the sea, not the wind chimes, something else, a soft trickling, almost like water. You listen carefully. There it is again, very gentle, almost hidden. You look beyond the tree. At the far side of the clearing, where the moonlight fades into shadow, you notice a narrow path you had not seen before. It is smaller than the others, almost secret. 2 flat stones, then another, then another. They disappear among the grasses. The soft sound comes once again. Trickle, pause, trickle. You smile. The island appears to have another small place to show you. There is no need to hurry. You rise from the bench. The grass softly bends beneath your feet. The lantern continues glowing behind you. The tree remains perfectly still. You take the first step, then another and another. The little path gently curves through the grass. Moonlight follows you. The trickling sound becomes slightly clearer. You continue walking slowly. The island seems even quieter here. The sea sounds farther away. The breeze grows softer. The stars seem brighter. Then the path opens into a very small clearing, and there you find it, a tiny stone fountain, no larger than a table. At its center sits a smooth rock from which water rises gently and falls again into a shallow basin. The sound is immediately soothing, water falling, water resting, water falling, water resting. Beside the fountain stands another bench, even smaller than the one beneath the tree. You wonder if anyone has ever sat here and listened to the water for an entire evening. It seems entirely possible. Perhaps many people have, or perhaps none at all. The island does not appear concerned with such questions. It simply offers the place and allows the evening to unfold. You sit upon the bench. The fountain continues its gentle song. The water catches the moonlight. Small reflections dance upon the surface. They shimmer quietly. Silver, then dark, then silver again. The sound of the fountain begins to mingle with the distant sea. Water nearby, water far away, both moving slowly, both entirely unhurried. You rest your hands comfortably in your lap. The cool night air brushes gently across your face. The stars shine overhead. The fountain whispers beside you, and for perhaps the 100th time tonight, you feel as though you have arrived exactly where you are meant to be. Not because anything extraordinary has happened, but because this small island seems to understand something important, that peaceful moments do not need to be big. Sometimes they are no more than moonlight on water. A bench beneath the stars, and a quiet fountain hidden among the pines. You remain seated beside the little fountain for a long and comfortable while. Water rises gently from the smooth stone, then falls again. Water falling, water resting, water falling, water resting. The sound seems to belong to the night. You take a slow breath. The air feels cool and fresh. Somewhere beyond the pines, the sea continues breathing. Wave, pause, wave, pause. Then you notice something. Beyond the fountain, another path appears. You are almost certain it was there all along. Small lanterns stand beside it. Their golden lights are soft and warm. The view seems endless. Moonlight rests upon the water like silver silk. The horizon has disappeared. Sea and sky seem to become one. Stars cover the heavens, thousands of them, some bright, some faint, some appearing only when you soften your gaze. A wooden bench rests near the edge of the cliff. You walk toward it and sit. The wood feels cool. The sea stretches endlessly before you. Wave, pause, wave, pause. The ocean sounds older here. Deeper somehow, as though it has been breathing in this same rhythm for thousands of years. You look upward. The stars seem impossibly clear. The sky feels enormous. You choose one star. Then another, then another. You remain seated beside the window. The blanket rests comfortably across your lap. The telescope points quietly toward the stars. Outside, the sea continues its patient rhythm. Wave, pause, wave, pause. The little room is warm. The lantern glows softly, and for a while you simply sit, doing nothing at all. The notebook remains open beside you. Your eyes drift back to its pages. Most of the observations are only a sentence long. Some are even shorter. The moon arrived late tonight. The pines smelled sweeter after rain. A cloud crossed the face of the moon and everything became silver. The sea was so calm that even the stars seemed to rest upon it. You smile softly. There is something comforting about these little notes. They remind you that someone else once sat here, someone who noticed quiet things, someone who loved peaceful evenings, someone who understood that ordinary moments can feel extraordinary when we give them our full attention. A breeze brushes gently against the building. The window gives a soft creak. Then stillness returns. You close the notebook and set it carefully upon the table. Then your eyes wander around the room once more. The telescope, the blanket, the little stove, the bookshelf. You had almost forgotten the books. You rise slowly and walk toward them. There are not many, only a few shelves. Their covers are worn. Some are blue, some green, some the color of faded sand. You run your fingers lightly along their spines. Most of them seem to be books about the sea. Others are about stars. One is filled with drawings of clouds. Another contains illustrations of birds. And then you notice something. A book with no title. Its cover is made of dark blue cloth, almost the same color as the sea at midnight. You remove it from the shelf. It is surprisingly light. You return to the chair and sit once more. The lantern glows warmly beside you. You open the book. The first page contains only a single sentence. For evenings that ask nothing of us. You read the words slowly. Then again, for evenings that ask nothing of us. The sentence feels perfectly at home on this island. You turn another page. There is no story, no chapter, only a drawing. It shows a person sitting beside the sea. Another page, a lantern hanging from a branch. Another, a small boat drifting upon calm water. Another, a cup of tea beside a rain-covered window. The drawings are simple, gentle, peaceful. They seem less like illustrations and more like memories. You continue turning pages. The book never explains anything. It simply offers one quiet image after another. A bench beneath the stars, a lighthouse window glowing in the rain, a sleeping gull at the end of a dock, a pair of footprints beside the sea, a blanket resting upon an empty chair. The pages begin to feel dreamlike, and slowly, without quite realizing it, you stop turning them. You simply hold the book in your hands. The lantern glows softly. The sea breathes below. Wave, pause. The room feels wonderfully warm. You lean back slightly. Your shoulders relax. Your breathing slows. The stars remain outside the window. Patient, silent, steady. You imagine spending an entire evening here. Then another and another, watching the sky, listening to the sea, making notes of little things, the smell of rain, the color of moonlight, the shape of clouds, the sound of water. The island seems built for exactly these kinds of moments, moments that are small, moments that ask nothing of you, moments that simply allow you to rest. A long and comfortable silence settles around you. Then, somewhere outside, you hear it. A bell. Very soft. Just once. You lift your head slightly. Silence. Then the sound comes again, gentle, far away. You rise from the chair and walk toward the window. Below, the island lies in silver moonlight. The sea shines softly. The pines sway gently. Then you see it. Near the shore, beyond the trees, a small light moves slowly. Not a lantern hanging from a post, not the lighthouse. A moving light, golden, steady. It drifts quietly along the edge of the sea, then disappears behind the pines. You smile. The island appears to have one more peaceful place waiting to be discovered. You continue looking through the window. The moving light has disappeared behind the pines. The island becomes still once again. The sea breathes softly below. Wave, pause, wave, pause. You remain there for a few moments. Then the light appears again, farther along the shore this time, steady, moving slowly, and once again you hear the soft bell. Gentle, warm, as though someone is simply announcing their presence to the night. The sound does not feel mysterious. It feels comforting, like hearing footsteps in a familiar house. You smile softly. The island appears to remain awake in little ways. You place the blanket carefully upon the chair. Then you leave the observatory. Cool night air welcomes you once again. The stars shine brightly overhead. The lantern beside the door glows softly. The moving light appears once more. This time you can see that it travels along a narrow path near the shore. You begin walking. The grass bends gently beneath your feet. The lanterns along the path continue glowing. The sea sounds a little closer now. Wave, pause, wave, pause. The island feels wonderfully familiar. The lighthouse behind you. The moon garden among the pines, the fountain hidden in the clearing, the observatory overlooking the sea. It already feels as though you have known these places for a long time. You follow the gentle light. The path slowly descends. Pine trees become fewer. The scent of salt grows stronger. The sea air feels cool and refreshing. Then you hear the bell once more. Closer this time. You round a bend in the path, and there, at the edge of the shore, you see it. A small hand cart. It has been painted white long ago, though the color has softened with time. A lantern hangs from one corner. Beside it hangs a tiny silver bell that moves whenever the breeze touches it. The cart stands perfectly still, as though it has simply been waiting here. You walk a little closer. Inside the cart are several small objects, a kettle, a stack of ceramic cups, a folded blanket, a basket, and several glass jars. You smile. The little cart somehow feels exactly right for this island. You lift one of the jars. Inside are tea leaves. Another contains dried flowers. Another contains small pieces of dried fruit. Everything seems carefully arranged. Everything feels welcoming. Beside the basket rests a small wooden sign. The writing is neat. It reads, "For anyone who wishes to watch the sea for a while." You read the sentence once, then again. For anyone who wishes to watch the sea for a while. The words seem to belong perfectly here. You look toward the ocean. Moonlight stretches across the water. The horizon has disappeared completely. The world feels made only of sea and stars. Beside the cart stands a wooden bench. You sit. The lantern glows softly beside you. The little bell gives the gentlest sound. The sea continues breathing. Wave, pause, wave. Pause. You decide to prepare a cup of tea. There is water already inside the kettle, and beside it rests a small spirit lamp. You light it. The tiny flame appears. Warm, steady, you wait. There is no need to hurry. The island seems to enjoy small preparations. The sea continues breathing. The stars continue shining. The lantern continues glowing. Eventually the water begins to warm. Then comes the softest sound, a quiet hum. You place a few tea leaves inside one of the cups. Their scent rises immediately. Floral, gentle, you pour the water. Steam rises slowly into the cool night air. You wrap your hands around the cup. Its warmth feels pleasant. You do not drink immediately. Instead, you simply hold it, feeling the warmth, watching the steam rise, listening to the sea. A gull calls somewhere far along the shore. Then silence returns. At last, you take a small sip. The tea is delicate, slightly sweet, wonderfully warm. You take another sip. The little bell moves softly in the breeze. The lantern glows beside you. The sea continues its endless rhythm. Wave, pause, wave, pause. You sit there for a long time, drinking tea, watching the ocean, doing absolutely nothing else. and once again the island reminds you of something important. Perhaps rest is not a place. Perhaps rest is simply a moment when nothing needs to happen. Another wave reaches the shore, then another. The tea remains warm in your hands. The stars shine overhead. The lantern keeps its patient glow, and somewhere inside you, everything seems to become a little quieter. You remain seated beside the sea. The cup rests comfortably in your hands. Steam rises gently into the cool night air. The lantern glows softly beside you, and the sea continues breathing. Wave, pause. Wave, pause. The tea is warm. The night is cool. The stars shine overhead. Everything feels wonderfully balanced. You take another small sip, then another. The little bell gives a soft sound as the breeze passes. Then silence returns. For a long while you simply sit, watching the moonlight upon the water. The silver path upon the sea seems endless. You follow it with your eyes. It stretches farther and farther into the darkness, until eventually you can no longer tell where the sea ends and the sky begins. The island seems to enjoy such gentle confusions, places where one thing slowly becomes another. Night becoming dawn, sea becoming sky, memory becoming imagination. You smile softly. The tea has become even more pleasant now. Its warmth slowly spreads through you. You feel your shoulders relax a little more. Your breathing slows again. The island asks nothing of you. Not your thoughts, not your plans, not your attention. Only your presence. Only this moment. A breeze arrives from the sea. It smells faintly of salt and rain. You close your eyes for a few seconds. The cool air touches your face. The tea warms your hands. The sea breathes nearby. Wave, pause, wave, pause. Then you hear something else. Rain, very far away. At first it sounds almost like another wave. Then you hear it again, a soft whisper. You open your eyes. Far out across the water, beyond the silver path of moonlight, a thin curtain of rain is moving slowly over the sea. You can barely see it, only because the moon occasionally catches it. The sight feels strangely beautiful. Rain crossing the ocean, quietly, patiently, with nowhere to hurry. The rain does not appear to be coming toward the island. It simply moves across the distant water. You watch it for a while. There is something deeply comforting about rain. You do not need to escape. Rain that asks nothing of you. Rain that simply exists somewhere beyond the horizon. You finish the last of your tea. The cup is still pleasantly warm. You place it carefully beside the lantern. The little bell moves once more. Then all becomes still again. A long and comfortable silence settles around you. At last, you rise from the bench. The sea continues breathing. The lantern continues glowing. The handcart remains patiently beside the shore. You gently touch its smooth wooden side. Then you begin walking once again. The path follows the coastline for a little while. Smooth stones rest beneath your feet. Tiny waves reach the shore beside you, then retreat, then return. The rhythm becomes almost hypnotic. You walk slowly. There is absolutely no need to arrive anywhere. The island seems happiest when one simply wanders. After a little while, the path begins to climb once more. The shore falls gently behind you. The sea remains visible between the trees. The pines return. Their dark shapes sway softly overhead. The scent of cedar surrounds you once again. Then, through the branches, you notice something familiar. A warm glow. You stop. The lighthouse. Its lantern still shines upon the hill. Its window glows softly. The sight fills you with unexpected comfort. It feels like seeing a familiar home after an evening walk. The island suddenly seems even smaller, and somehow even more welcoming. You realize that no matter where you wander tonight, the lighthouse remains, the lantern remains, the moon garden remains, the sea continues breathing, the stars continue shining. Everything patiently waits. You begin walking toward the lighthouse. The path feels familiar now. The stones, the pines, the cool air. And as you slowly climb the hill once again, a pleasant thought arrives. Perhaps that is why some places feel like memories. Not because we have been there before, but because they welcome us so completely that they feel as though they have always belonged to us. The lighthouse grows closer. Its warm light spills softly through the trees. And for the first time tonight, you begin to notice something else. The eastern horizon has changed, only slightly, but unmistakably. The darkness there seems softer, as though somewhere beyond the sea, morning has already begun its long, patient journey toward the island. You remain seated beside the sea. The cup rests comfortably in your hands. Steam rises gently into the cool night air. The lantern glows softly beside you, and the sea continues breathing. Wave, pause, wave, pause. The tea is warm. You recognize them all. The night is cool. The stars shine overhead. Everything feels wonderfully balanced. You take another small sip, then another. The little bell gives a soft sound as the breeze passes, then silence returns. For a long while you simply sit, watching the moonlight upon the water. The silver path upon the sea seems endless. You follow it with your eyes. It stretches farther and farther into the darkness, until eventually you can no longer tell where the sea ends and the sky begins. The island seems to enjoy such gentle confusions, places where one thing slowly becomes another, night becoming dawn, sea becoming sky, memory becoming imagination. You smile softly. The tea has become even more pleasant now. Its warmth slowly spreads through you. You feel your shoulders relax a little more. Your breathing slows again. The island asks nothing of you, not your thoughts, not your plans, patiently, with nowhere to hurry. The rain does not appear to be coming toward the island. It simply moves across the distant water. You watch it for a while. There is something deeply comforting about rain you do not need to escape. Rain that asks nothing of you. Rain that simply exists somewhere beyond the horizon. You finish the last of your tea. The cup is still pleasantly warm. You place it carefully beside the lantern. The little bell moves once more. Then all becomes still again. A long and comfortable silence settles around you. At last you rise from the bench. The sea continues breathing. The lantern continues glowing. The handcart remains patiently beside the shore. You gently touch its smooth wooden side. Then you begin walking once again. The path follows the coastline for a little while. Smooth stones rest beneath your feet. Tiny waves reach the shore beside you, then retreat, then return. The rhythm becomes almost hypnotic. You walk slowly. There is absolutely no need to arrive anywhere. The island seems happiest when one simply wanders. After a little while, the path begins to climb once more. The shore falls gently behind you. The sea remains visible between the trees. The pines return. Their dark shapes sway softly overhead. The scent of cedar surrounds you once again. Then, through the branches, you notice something familiar, a warm glow. You stop. The lighthouse. Its lantern still shines upon the hill. Its window glows softly. The sight fills you with unexpected comfort. It feels like seeing a familiar home after an evening walk. The island suddenly seems even smaller and somehow even more welcoming. You realize that no matter where you wander tonight, the lighthouse remains, the lantern remains, the moon garden remains. The sea continues breathing, the stars continue shining. Everything patiently waits. The path feels familiar now. The stones, the pines, the cool air. You recognize them all, and as you slowly climb the hill once again, a pleasant thought arrives. Perhaps that is why some places feel like memories. Not because we have been there before, but because they welcome us so completely that they feel as though they have always belonged to us. The lighthouse grows closer. Its warm light spills softly through the trees, and for the first time tonight, you begin to notice something else. The eastern horizon has changed, only slightly, but unmistakably. The darkness there seems softer, as though somewhere beyond the sea morning has already begun its long, patient journey toward the island. You remain seated beside the window. The first light of dawn rests softly upon the sea. The lantern still glows beside you. Its golden light now mixes gently with the pale colors of morning. The room feels even warmer than before. You begin walking toward the lighthouse. Outside, the world is slowly waking. But inside the lighthouse, everything remains wonderfully still. You rest your hands comfortably in your lap. The chair supports you softly. The sea continues its patient rhythm. A wave reaches the shore. A moment of stillness, then another wave, then stillness again. You listen. The rhythm feels familiar now, as though it has been accompanying you throughout the entire night. And perhaps it has. You think of the little dock, the lantern by the shore, the path through the pines, the moon garden, the fountain, the observatory, the small cart beside the sea. All of them remain upon the island, patiently, quietly, exactly where you left them. You realize something. There is something comforting about knowing that places can remain, that they can simply wait, as though they understand that we may someday wish to return. You glance toward the notebook upon the table. You do not open it. There is no need. The words already remain with you. Some places are not found. They are remembered. The sentence seems softer now, almost like a whisper. Perhaps every person carries such a place inside them. A quiet room, a garden beneath the moon, a path through pine trees, a lighthouse beside the sea, a place where nothing is expected, a place where there is nowhere to hurry, a place where one can simply rest. You take a slow breath, then another. The sea continues breathing below. The birds outside remain gentle and distant. The lantern glows patiently beside you. Everything seems to be moving more slowly. Even the morning itself. The sky becomes a little brighter. The sea becomes a little brighter. The room feels warm. The lighthouse feels safe. The sea continues its endless rhythm. A wave, stillness, another wave, stillness again. The island remains exactly where it has always been. The dock remains, the lantern remains, the moon garden remains. The stars, though fading now, remain somewhere above, and the lighthouse remains too, patient, quiet, waiting, as though it will be here whenever you wish to return. You take one final slow breath. The morning light grows softer. The lantern glows more gently. The sea keeps breathing below, and little by little you allow your thoughts to grow quieter. Little by little your body feels heavier. You simply rest, and somewhere upon the island of quiet tides, the lighthouse window remains warm. The sea continues breathing, and everything is peaceful. Everything is still. Everything is exactly as it should be, and at last you drift softly into sleep. You do not need to open your eyes. You remain comfortably seated beside the window. The lighthouse is warm. The chair supports you gently. Outside, the morning continues arriving slowly. The sea remains patient. A wave reaches the shore. A moment of quiet. Then another wave, then stillness again. The island seems in no hurry to begin the day, and neither are you. The lantern beside you still glows. Its light is softer now, golden and gentle, like the last candle remaining awake. You imagine the little dock below, the lantern beside the shore still resting there, the path through the pines, the moon garden beneath its tree, the tiny fountain among the grasses, the observatory above the sea. All of them remain, patiently, quietly, exactly as they were. Nothing needs to be changed, nothing needs to be finished, nothing needs to be solved. The island simply exists, and for this moment you simply exist with it. You breathe slowly. The sea continues its endless rhythm. The breeze moves softly through the pines. A bird sings once, then silence returns. Your shoulders feel heavy, comfortably heavy. Your hands are warm. Your breathing is slow and easy. The chair feels softer now. The room feels warmer. The sea sounds farther away, and somehow closer at the same time. Perhaps this is why some places are remembered, because they ask nothing of us, because they allow us to rest, because they seem willing to wait forever. A wave reaches the shore, a moment of quiet. Then another wave, then stillness again. The lighthouse keeps watch, the sea keeps breathing, the island remains peaceful, and little by little your thoughts become quieter. Little by little your breathing becomes slower. Little by little you simply rest. The island of quiet tides remains exactly where it has always been, patient, quiet, warm, waiting softly in the distance, as though it will always be there whenever you wish to return. Your breathing grows slower, and the island remains warm, quiet, waiting gently in the distance, as though it will always be there whenever you wish to return. This was Sleep Chapters. Every night begins with a new chapter, and for tonight you can simply rest, sleep well,